Monday blues. I have a long story, but let me give you the brief version. It is that my wife had a 10-month mostly emotional affair with a man she met through work. I say mostly because they only met a few times and had sex on one occasion. I know this for a fact, as I have seen a lot of their correspondence. My question is, how important is it to get my wife's phone and email passwords? I knew all of these during the last few months of my wife's affair, and it did me no good. She simply created email accounts I didn't know existed. She would also delete any messages from the other man as soon as she read them. I was very suspicious during the last few months and would go through her work phone and her personal cell every chance I got with a fine-tooth comb, but I never found anything. The same with emails and Facebook. The way I look at it now is that if she wants to hide something, she's gotten pretty good at it, and I would not be able to find it. I would probably drive myself nuts looking for something that isn't there. She has written a no-contact letter, committed to me and our marriage. She has started going to friends and relatives that have been hurt by this, one at a time, and apologizing for the hurt she has caused. She has offered her passwords to me because everything we have read recommends this, but I turn them down. For now, I want to be done being a detective and continue working on my marriage. She told me there would be no contact, but I've learned now that it never really stopped. They both agreed it was best to go back to their marriages, but they stayed in contact for months as friends. Of course, it turned into another emotional affair. I found out when the other man's wife found some emails and called me. I asked her to leave, and she did. Now she is back in the home, and we are in the process of reconciliation. She works in the same company as the other man, but in different towns. He has given his notice to quit his job, so I have not asked her to quit. She has talked to her boss, and he will help her with no contact until he is done. Yes, I exposed her to everyone. The reason I don't really care about passwords and stuff is that I feel if she wants to contact him or be with him, then she should just go. I have told her this. She doesn't have to hide it. Just tell me and leave. I am honestly at the point now where if anything else happens, I'll file for divorce and be okay with that. Why drive me nuts constantly checking up on her? I just want to keep learning and being the best husband I can be, and if that's not good enough now, then okay. He didn't end it this time. She did. She has chosen me, and she has chosen to come back to the home. This is a fact. I have no doubt about this. I have seen the correspondence. His marriage has ended, and he ended it to be with my wife. I told her that if she wanted him to go, we would get a divorce. The consequences she faced when she was exposed were hard for her. She lost our children. I had them 5 days a week. They are 3 and 5. I exposed her to all her family, my family and friends. We live in a small town, so word spread pretty quickly. She felt a lot of anger and disappointment from everyone. She lost her home, and most of all, she lost me. She is doing everything and more to make this right and repair the damage that has been done to our marriage. I told her that there may be times when I ask to see her phone or email, and when I ask, I expect instant access. She agreed. This is more for me. I think the reconciliation has been really good so far. She is very involved. I did ask for the passwords sometimes, and she gave them to me without hesitation. Without even asking why, she has been doing a lot of reading and learning about our recovery from her affair, so she understands the importance. She said, yes, here they are. Full disclosure, if there's anything else you need, let me know. I love you. She really is being amazing in helping us get through this. I don't think there's anything more I could ask her to do that she isn't already doing. The hurt is still there, but her actions are really minimizing the resentment. 2 weeks into being back under the same roof after a month apart due to my FWW's emotional affair, the recovery seems to be going well, and I could not ask for more from her in trying to make things right and repair the damage caused. No contact letter, no contact, full transparency, honesty and openness, etc. She is being very proactive in learning about the causes and effects of infidelity and how to work towards healing us. A strange thing has happened to me in the last few days, though. The hurt, forgiveness, relief, and hope have turned into anger. I feel encompassed by it, I've talked to her a bit about how I've been feeling, but not to the extent of it. I would describe it as a rage within me. I know I can control it, but is this a normal stage in recovery? I seem to constantly make a mess of things. Questions will pop into my head about my FWW's emotional affair, and I never bring them up at the right time or in the right way. I think these questions need to be asked and talked about, but it never ends well. My wife is great about listening and answering the questions. She understands that we can't just sweep this under the rug. I just always seem to take the conversation further than I intended when I ask the question at the worst times. She tries to be strong at first, but the longer the conversation goes, the more her guilt sets in, and she begins crying and saying how sorry she is. I end up feeling terrible because I hate to see her like this, and because we've talked about the affair. This isn't good when we're Christmas shopping. Do I need to ask these questions about every little thing? How should I bring them up? How can I do it without making her feel so guilty because I really have forgiven her? We are researching marriage counseling in our area and will start in the new year. We are in the research and early recovery stage. I am not quite ready to dive into the issues that caused the marriage breakdown. I would like a few months of proven no contact first. From what we've read, she needs this time to go through a withdrawal stage, so we'll take it slow. We are being very open with our feelings, so it's not like we are putting our marriage on the back burner. We're just not pushing it. And the truth about the affair. I feel I have gotten it because I have talked to the other man, briefly, and to the other man's woman. I have also seen texts and emails that validate what everyone is saying. You're right though. I cannot be 100% certain of this. I asked for the full truth before she moved back in, and I think she laid it all out. I have to disagree with you on the rug sweeping. I don't think we are sweeping it under the rug at all. I have forgiven her because I believe love and forgiveness are given. Trust, on the other hand, is earned. And I have told her this many times. She knows that at this point I have doubts about everything she says, and that she is at a big 0 on the trust scale. She is accepting all the conditions I have set, and has said she will slowly rebuild my faith in her. We both know it's going to take a long time, and it's very early in the recovery. I got a little trickle truth yesterday as a result of snooping in emails. A meeting had occurred between them that I didn't know about. It was during a time that I knew the affair was going on, but it still sucks to learn something new. I explained to her what trickle truth does to my recovery. I don't need to know every little detail, but I have asked her about when and where the meetings took place, and she left 2 out. She said she didn't tell me about these because it was a difficult time. I thought we were okay and she didn't want to hurt me anymore. I wasn't hurt, I was mad because she lied. Again, I explained that when I get the truth, I can deal with it, process it, and move forward. She says that's all there is to it, that I know everything. We will see, I guess a couple of days later. My wife is really struggling with guilt and hating herself right now. She seems to be searching for a quick fix to get us past this painful period. At least every second day, there is a conversation that leads to tears. She is doing everything I have asked her to do at this point, and we are waiting until the new year to start marriage counseling. This will get us through the holidays and will be the amount of time I've needed to prove no contact. So she can get through withdrawal. She keeps asking me what else she can do. There is really nothing more I want her to do at this point. All she says is we need no contact, honesty, transparency, and time. The love is there. I love her and I believe she loves me, but it's gonna take a lot of time. I have said it will help if she keeps reading and learning. About 2.5 months out from D-Day 2, and 1.5 months into reconciliation, my wife has been perfect so far. We are going through the his needs, her needs book together and doing lots of reading and learning about affairs, marriage, etc. As far as I know, there has been no contact. I have found nothing suspicious, and I may snoop a lot. Probably too much. My wife has been perfect, and reconciliation lately, it's me screwing things up. About the last week, I started to feel weird. I don't know how to explain it, except it's like there are walls up when my wife is around. I have trouble looking at her, talking to her, and showing love and affection is very hard. I still try to have sex every night though. Of course, she doesn't want to have sex with someone who is shut off to her. Then I get upset because I want to have sex. I don't want to feel like this. I love my wife. I really do. We tried to talk about it last night, but then I had to stop because I just didn't want to. It's starting to affect our reconciliation because she is giving so much and not getting what she needs from me in return. I think I just have to push through these times and show love and affection, even at times when I don't feel it. I do want to stay married to my wife. My wife hurting all the time without support from me can't be good for our reconciliation. I am getting what I need from her. I need to figure out how to start meeting her needs as well, instead of constantly shutting off. I want to stay married to her. So this can't be just about how I feel. A month later, my wife showed me a text she received today on her work phone. It was blank, but it was from a new number in the community where the other man lives. He would have had to get a new cell number because he quit his job, and they had been communicating through their work cells during the affair. We did not know for sure it was him, so my wife's boss phoned the number and told us he got the other man's voicemail. I wasn't sure if I should call or not. It triggered me badly when we were discussing it, so I wasn't ready to deal with it. Now we know it's him. What should we do? We sent the no contact letter, and my wife swears she never broke it. Half a year later, D-Day 3 was last night. I received a phone call and an email from the other man's wife. My soon-to-be ex-wife admitted they had been talking again, and she was in love with him. In love with him? I seem to be okay with the marriage ending at this point, but I am devastated for my 6-year-old daughter and 4-year-old son. It looks like I'll be staying with them in the home for now, so that's something I can take comfort in. I was a big believer in reconciliation, but now I don't know if happiness in a marriage is ever really possible after an affair. His betrayal doesn't really hurt that bad right now. Maybe a person does get used to this sort of thing. I don't care about the details of the affair and how long it has been going on again. I just want her gone. Reconciliation not working is not all her fault. I carried a lot of hurt and anger from the affair, and wasn't even close to trusting her again or giving her the marriage she wanted. I did say a million times though that if she ever thought she didn't want to be with me or go through this, then she should leave, and I could live with that. Why she had to cheat, wait for me to find out again, and then tell me she loves him, I will never understand. It's an act of a cruel and selfish person. I have talked to the other woman and recommended this forum to her. She needs it badly. She still wants to wait for the other man after 3 days with my wife, and who knows how many others with other women. She still wants the kids once she gets a place and figures out her new life and relationship. We'll work out a schedule. The other man told me they were splitting, but she's a bit crazy as well. She once told me that she told the other man she would stay married to him and he could have my wife as his mistress. I also saw an email from my soon-to-be ex-wife at one point that said she would be any part of the other man's life he wanted. I'm not trying to do a 180, but I am living it anyway. She is here for now, but that does not factor at all in my personal life decisions. I don't want her back as my wife, and I never will. I don't feel a lot of anger. The sadness I feel is not for myself, but for my kids, and the loss of my family unit, and the future I had. I see no rush to get a piece of paper. I am divorced in God's eyes and I am free. She brought up filing and I told her to go ahead. She can figure all that out. I know it'll take time, but whether we divorce tomorrow or in a year, it wouldn't change anything on my end. I'm not planning on getting married soon. I cannot legally get her out, and I wouldn't at this point. We are getting along well considering what she did. We have figured out most of our assets, debt, and a schedule for the kids. I really want to avoid a court battle and big lawyer bills, so kicking her out would come back to bite me in the long run. I wish I never had to see her again, but I know with 2 kids that need us both, that will never be possible. I don't know how she feels, I haven't asked, and I don't really care unless it involves our children. She gets a little emotional sometimes, but quickly bites her lip and toughens up. She obviously thinks what she did was right, or else she wouldn't have done it. And like I said, if she is hurting, I am indifferent to it at point. I just want a fair split of our assets, joint custody of the kids, and for her not to move the kids to be with her affair partner. This is all happening, so I see no reason to fight. Life will punish her. We have arranged a meeting with a lawyer to help us through the divorce process together. We hope to minimize arguments and expenses by negotiating a fair settlement for both of us. We both need a better understanding of certain things, so we are going together. The hope is to minimize costs, which can add up quickly with two lawyers going back and forth. We will put the agreements we have made in legal writing and have an impartial view on our situation. My soon-to-be ex-wife is really dragging her feet on starting this new life. Life she claims to want hasn't packed one thing. She's also acting weirdly normal around the house. She woke me up because I slept in. She always set the alarm clock and made my lunch for me as I was running out the door. She even gets uncomfortably close to me in certain situations. I flinch away or back up, but she does not seem to notice. I think she has been carrying on this double life for so long that she just keeps going like that. Maybe she never would have left if she hadn't been caught. Maybe she's waiting until I snap, but for now, I am getting along. Legally, I'm stuck. Either I leave or wait for her to leave. All I can do is start the legal separation and divorce process. I could make a fuss and throw her out, throw her stuff out, etc. But I'm not gonna give her ammunition to use against me. I don't know what to do. The kids need their mother. They need us to not be at each other's throats. They need two happy, loving homes. If I fight, I might end up losing more of them. This man also has more money than I could dream of. I would be bankrupt fighting this in a week. Then what kind of life could I give them? She did try really hard after D-Day too. I give her that. I was too hurt and angry to give her what she needed. She had to ride it out until I was ready to move forward, if I ever was. And she couldn't. She needed a love I couldn't or wasn't ready to give, so she ran back to the other man who would give it to her. No regrets though. I was honest about my feelings the whole time. She should have just left and not cheated. My inability to give her what she needed during reconciliation because of the way I felt was definitely one of the issues that led to D-Day 3. I knew she was struggling with guilt and the lack of her emotional needs being met. She told me, and my answer would be that I could only give what I could give at this point. And time would only tell when I could give more. That was too hard on her. Still, she should have left and not cheated. We agreed tonight to go straight to divorce and not separate first. She has agreed to sign the sworn court document saying she committed adultery so I could get an immediate divorce. I'm going to start the process. We also worked out most of the details of the divorce, property, assets, custody, without going through lawyers. It's not legal yet, but the agreement is very fair, and I would not change much. It was sad for us, but also relieving at the same time. I told her whenever we talked that it wasn't really a short-term trust issue I had, if that makes sense. I said that I could not trust that when things got hard between us, or in life in general, that she wouldn't run again. That's exactly what happened. We had a rough day, got in a fight, and she picked up the phone and called him. As soon as she did that and broke no contact, the marriage was over. It's a pattern with her that has been happening even before we were married. I never believed she could break that pattern. It's weird to me that my soon-to-be ex-wife's lying became so easy for her with regards to her affair. She is usually a fair, straightforward, and honest person. But now she can lie and not even flinch. As far as regular life goes, she's not a big fake storyteller or anything. She is extremely mistrustful of me, which I don't quite understand. She is suspicious of everything I suggest during this divorce negotiation. I truly do love this woman. Let me make it clear that I want out of my marriage, but I am starting to see that we can still love each other, be friends, and have a new relationship as co-parents. She has even started to show regret over her decisions, and we even talked about her relationship with the other man. She seems to have put more thought into it and is slowing things down with him. She does not want the kids anywhere close to the relationship as well. She has even agreed that we can put something in the settlement about not moving the children out of our town to ease my fears that she's not going to take the kids and rush to live with the other man. We had an issue last night with her phone. She was in the house and it was beeping constantly. She texted a few times and at one point went outside to make a phone call to the other man. It was really pissing me off, but I kept my cool. I wanted to throw the phone in the pond when I had a chance without the kids around. I addressed it and told her how angry it was making me and how disrespectful I thought it was in more than a few words. She agreed, apologized, and will not communicate with him unless she is in the camper where she sleeps or leaves the yard. We live on an acreage, so I told her that if the high-maintenance other man needs to talk to her ASAP, she should get in her truck and leave the yard. Next time the phone goes in the pond, we have to decide to get a legal separation for a while before we proceed with the divorce. There are a couple of things we have trouble agreeing on. The value of the house is one, and to be honest, I'm not sure yet if I want to stay on the acreage alone or move into town. A separation allows us to keep it in both of our names for now, and I will keep living there. Also the children. We both want equal time and access, but we want to experiment with the schedule of the children to see what works best for them before getting a divorce. We think a separation will allow us more flexibility with that. Everyone on here, have a great day. It'll be better in 7 days, when she moves into her own place. Then she can figure out how two serial cheaters who live in separate towns can make a relationship work. I'll be enjoying my freedom, loving my kids, and keeping an eye out for someone to warm me up at night, once in a while. My wife seems more friendly and content with me than she has in a long time. It could be because all she needs from me to be happy is to continue being a good dad, have a good relationship for the kids, and agree to a fair settlement in the divorce so she feels financially secure on her own. Everything else she needed from me to be happy is no longer my responsibility. She's either gonna have to realize that she is responsible for her own happiness, or she'll make it the other man's responsibility and the cycle will continue. Maybe there is a flip side to this as well. In our relationship, I was thinking about everything she could do so that I could feel happy again. But I wasn't taking enough steps to work on myself. Now that we've taken all this responsibility off of the other person, things are good. Tension will probably only arise now when one of us feels the other one is not doing what's best for the kids. Or possibly when we feel financial strain or stress because of the divorce. And probably when if I see the other man or her with him, I'm still a betrayed husband who is human. The next day I'm back from the lawyer, feeling crappy. It's gonna be tough financially when this is all done. We're going straight to divorce again, with shared custody of the kids and child support. My wife was nice enough to get all dolled up to go see the lawyer, who happens to be close to where her new man lives. She doesn't even respect me enough to wait until she's in her new place before jumping on the new wagon. It's awesome laying in bed with my kids in the morning, while my wife is having an extra long shower, shaving her legs and whatnot, to go meet another man. She thinks there's nothing wrong with this, and says she just wants to be honest with me when she tells me she wants to go see him after the lawyer. Awesome. I wish she would leave. The 16th is supposed to be the day. I need her gone. She has no money to get a place. I can't give her the money she needs to get the place she wants, and a vehicle, until we have an agreement. I need one number to go to the bank with and get a lump sum to buy her out. I thought of the perfect analogy for how I feel about my STBXW today. Loving her is like loving a crazy person. She hurts me, our kids, and everyone else who cares about her with her actions. We all watch her hurt herself and feel pain. Most of the time she is drunk and I want to be as far away from her as possible. But at the few times she's sober, she is the woman I love. There comes a time though when you realize if you don't cut yourself off from the drunk, they will keep hurting you and drag you down as well. I still love her, but from a distance. If she ever realizes what she has done and stays sober, I will forgive her, but she will never be in a position to hurt me again. I had a good talk with my STBXW last night. I cried, she cried, and we talked a lot about how we got to where we are and how we can move forward. I told her about the things that she was doing that were bothering me, especially in regard to the other man. She said it wasn't her intention at all to rub it in my face, but she didn't want to lie anymore. She asked me what I wanted in regard to this, and I told her to respect me enough to wait until she moves out and hide it from me like she did before. I don't need to know what's happening with them. We talked some more about everything, pretty much how the relationship went from D-Day 2 until now. We even got to a point where she asked me what I needed from her and that I didn't really have an answer. I want her to stay, but I also want her to go. I wanted to wrap my arms around her when she was crying and tell her that if she would let me, I would fix everything. But I know that's not reality. It's gone too far. The divorce is settled and the lawyer is drafting it up for us to sign. She is getting ready to move. Too much has been said from both sides that can't be taken back. Our friends and family have been divided and angered. Our kids have been prepped for what is about to happen to their family. Our jobs have been patient and understanding while we go through this again. Trust has been destroyed on both sides. She hates herself for what she has done to me. I wish I could go back and help her with the heavy lifting after D-Day 2, because I never realized how much guilt and pain she was in. I think both of us would use a time machine to go back about 2 years and start again together. When my STBXW first cheated, it changed everything. Not just with us, but with my whole view of the world. We were teenagers the first time we dated, and I can honestly say I fell in love with her then. We both went through other relationships until we got married, but the dream was always her. She was the one I measured the rest against. It's not just her as she is now that is gone. She took every memory of the girl, woman I loved for 14 years and wiped them out. The woman I thought she was never existed. Everything she has ever said about love, family, and marriage was all talk. Everything she ever said or did was in question. 14 years were stolen and replaced with a woman who I now do not know at all, who wants me to love, trust, and forgive her. How could I do that? If a man said something nice to her and she didn't respond with, "I'm married," then in my head, she wanted him. Every day had the potential to be another D-Day. When I found out again on D-Day 3, it wasn't even that big of a shock because I had played the scene out in my mind 1,000 times. Of course, every betrayed spouse knows how it changes your view of the world and how you now see other people. Last night, my STBXW came to the house to tuck in the kids and then left shortly after. My 4-year-old son was having trouble sleeping. I was beside him and ran my fingers through his hair and over his face, which he likes as he falls asleep. I was feeling upset before this, thinking about where my STXW was and who she was with. I was feeling alone. In that moment, I realized that I was not alone. There was more love where I was than anywhere she could be. I thought that there is not a woman in the world I would trade this moment for. She has agreed to leave, and it started with a fight tonight and ended up with some crying, hugging, and more talking in circles. I know I'm weak, but what can I say? Even though we are getting divorced and I want a divorce, it's hard to let go. I'm 33 and have loved her since I was 19. She asked me if I wanted her to leave and I said yes, or else this is just going to keep happening. Too many emotions. She agreed. She packed some bags and left. It was tough but also a relief. I'm sure she feels the same. It's definitely time to move forward and try to establish a routine with the kids. I need to start my home on my own. And I needed the closure of saying goodbye, knowing she would not be staying another night. I hugged her and said goodbye. I needed that for myself. The longer she was there, the harder it was on me. She said she does not want to keep hurting me, but she does not know how to stop. I know it will only stop when I stop letting her hurt me. Last night was like the end credits of a movie for me. Now it's my home, my life, and she will only be a part of it as a co-parent. I don't want to be her friend. I will probably always have love for her, but I don't like her. I would not be friends with anyone else who caused me the amount of pain she has caused me since I was a kid. She destroyed my children's family, took half of my retirement income that she didn't contribute a dime to, broke my parents' hearts, and hurt, lied, and betrayed all of our friends and family. She carried on her affair and relationship while still living in our family home. I would not be friends with someone like that, and I don't want to be. So my STBXW is back at the house and sleeping in the camper for the weekend. I received this text at work on Friday. I will be staying at the house tonight, so you will need to make other arrangements. I will be packing. I told her I was making no other arrangements. I was exhausted from work and what we went through the night before. I am emotionally and physically drained. She asked me if I was okay with her staying, and I said, I would honestly rather if you left when I returned because I don't want another repeat of last night, and I felt I got some closure last night that I don't want to reopen. Legally though, it's your choice. She said legally I can stay. You will get all the closure you want the moment I pay rent. I said goodbye to my wife on Thursday, when I thought she was spending the last night at our home. We had a fight, a long talk, crying, and I hugged her on the front lawn and watched her drive away. During the crying, she said things like, I don't know how to stop hurting you. And I love you. Followed by an explanation every time that it's love as the father of our children, love as the man she walked down the aisle with, etc. She asked what she could do to make this easier on me, etc. My wife is gone. She was there for a few moments on Thursday night when she was broken down. My heart swelled, wanting to love and protect her, but this new woman quickly returned. I know this is hard on her too, and being a cold-hearted person is her way of holding herself together. I can't trust or believe a word she says anymore. I don't know how I'm gonna work with her to raise our kids when she's like this. We are taking a parenting after divorce course together that will hopefully guide us. On Thursday night, we agreed that it would be best if she does not stay there anymore. The next time I talked to her, she told me to make other arrangements. It's mind-boggling. I'm staying away from the house this weekend while she packs, but I'm still sleeping there. I don't think I'm a beta. I just wanted to say goodbye to my wife for a few moments when she's acting like my wife. The dismantling of my life is rough. I can't really start building back up until it's over. It sucks, but I know better things are ahead. She keeps saying she's not leaving her children and she's not leaving me for the other man. She's leaving because she was unhappy in our marriage and wants to find what will make her happy. She admits to leaving the wrong way. Only the rest of the world sees it differently than she does. She has to live with that. Update. I'm back at work today and glad to be here. What a rough emotional couple of days. Most of her stuff is loaded to move and she will be gone until Friday. She will be back on Friday and then gone again for work. I'm glad it'll just be the kids and me for the week. My parents will be here to help me put the house back together and figure out what I need. The stuff she left that I don't want will be boxed up and put in storage. Hopefully yesterday was the lowest it will get for me. The moving van is still here for the week while my STBXW is away on business. I wasn't gonna help her move, but I also realized I didn't want to sit around all week waiting for another awful moving day. I did talk to her about it first, to avoid a fight, and then got to work. My parents brought their camper to my place, and we got to work. All the furniture that my STBXW is taking was taken apart and loaded up. All the personal belongings that she had missed were also loaded up. I had already gotten replacement furniture, so we moved it in and set it up. I'm lying on my new bed right now, and the house looks and feels different, but it's still home. It wasn't as hard to do the moving as it was to watch her move. I felt in control, and it felt good. My mother is going to help me go over this place during the week with a fine-tooth comb so it shines. Maybe we'll even do some decorating, mainly small things and maybe some painting. It's my home now. She is going to come home and drive the moving van to paradise. Meanwhile, my kids are sleeping soundly and I'm spread out on an awesome new bed. My parents are here, and this is paradise. OMW contacted me last night. I guess she has been gone for a week. She just wanted to know what was going on with my end of things. I told her what I knew. She seems to still be pretty in the dark about what's happening. She is still being lied to. I tried to give her some advice on moving forward on her own, but she didn't really want to hear it. She is still holding on, hoping the other man will change his mind. In the end, I told her she can text me if she's feeling crappy, but I don't want to talk with her about my ex anymore. I told her I'm done with all that, and am getting a divorce that I want. She is in a lot of pain, and I understand, so I feel sorry for her. It's not just her condition, she's a hard woman to love, period. But I did. Nothing will stop the divorce now. If she came back promising the world, which she won't, I would still go ahead with the divorce. I need to find out what else is possible for me. If her condition ever turns to the worst and she is alone, I'm sure I would help out. She will always be the mother of my children, and my children will only ever see that I care about and respect their mother. Let's hope her body holds up and she can be strong. I have no illusions of raising these children alone, as I am already exhausted from this last month. My work is suffering, and my to-do list seems to get bigger and bigger at home. I need her to get her place set up so I can get a break. Not saying I couldn't keep doing this if I had to, but it's best for the kids and for the both of us to raise them co-parenting. As for the other man, OM, I hope she has explained her condition to him, and he takes the time to learn about it, how it affects her, and what she'll need now and in the future. If they stay together, if he's not there, then it will fall on her father, my children, and ultimately me. I hope he is man enough to see through what he started, but the history of his character says otherwise. I obviously am not a big fan of this man, but in the future the only problems I see arising are if they try to go to court to move the children to where the other man lives. I don't think this will be an issue because not too many men want to raise somebody else's children, especially when his are older and he, 50, is at a different stage in life than I am, 33. I say good luck to them, be happy. If you're not, then all this will have been for nothing. My ex is coming back from her business trip tomorrow. I really don't want to see her. Part of me really misses her though, and I am sad for that right now. I should clarify that by saying that I really miss my wife, not the ex she is now. She is back in town tomorrow night, gone again Saturday to a wedding, and after that, I don't know what's going on. I don't really know when the moving van that is loaded up goes to her new place and how long it'll be before she has the kids there overnight. I'm hoping that she will be able to stay with the kids when she gets here tomorrow, and I can take off for the evening, returning just to crawl into bed. I'm gonna spend a lot of time tomorrow reminding myself what she has done to me to stay strong when she is here. It's so tough when I know the kids can only see that I care about her and respect her. 2 weeks later, well, I'm officially a jerk who probably earned everything that happened to me. I started dating a girl. She was really nice and we had lots in common. We spent the weekend together and yes, it got physical. I was honest with her the whole time about what I was ready for. I did not want a relationship. Of course, after the weekend, it turned into a where is this going talk. I wanted to stay open to dating other people and she did not. The conversation progressed from there. So basically, I slept with her then dumped her. Like I said, I'm a jerk, feeling guilty as hell today. It's better now than dragging it out, I guess. Feel free to lay on the hate. I deserve it. Almost a month later, a few little things to settle for the divorce, but other than that, it's done. The kids are doing okay, but it can still be hard on them some days. I'm doing the best I can with them. My ex and I are getting along okay for them, and I'm trying to make it easy on them. She is still dating the other man and has even introduced the kids to him. They don't know that he's more than just her friend, and I hope she's smart enough to keep it that way for a little longer. As for me, I am happier than I can remember being. I realize how impossibly hard it was for me to try and love a cheater. Once I got over the fear of an unknown future, everything changed. I feel like such a weight has been lifted. I have a great girlfriend now, and admittedly, she is a big part of how I feel. She's amazing and puts a smile on my face every day. Every day she is in a very similar situation to mine. She is at about the same stage in her divorce as I am, and has a child the same age as mine as well. We may be leaning on each other, and some might say we are each other's rebounds, but it does not feel that way. We have a great time together, and it feels right. Life is good. To all those going through what I went through, it gets better. It gets a lot better. I met someone new, and we clicked immediately. This girl wanted more than just to date, and I did too. I really like her, and I don't want to date anyone else. I want to see where it goes with her. We are only dating each other. If that means she is my girlfriend, then I have a girlfriend. My comment, a long story with a sweet ending. Do you think the OP did the right thing, or do you think he dragged it out too long?